Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's our video. We are here as always to break down, react and discuss the latest Rangers game. A Rangers game, by the way, that saw us go ahead and catch another 3 points. Take that home with a couple of individual performances that was honestly up to this level. And some of the goals that we scored that we'll speak about in today's video was absolutely incredible. And you know what else is incredible, ladies and gentlemen? Is the feeling in the old coconuts as we put 4 past Dundee United. That right there is always welcome. Right frickin' here. And what's crazy about this game of football, ladies and gentlemen, is we went through a roller coaster on Thursday, right? It was absolutely mental. It was a classic grey hair turner. But regarding this game of football, yes, the result doesn't necessarily tell you that when you look at the scoreline. It's not 4-3, but when you actually think back and reflect on the game, it really could have been if we didn't have by far the best goalkeeper in this country. No one even comes close to sniff the gloves. Alan McGregor, never mind, slap them in their paws. Because I know goals and all that are sexy to break down, and trust me, there is some screamers to talk about in today's video. But first, before we go anywhere, I want to reflect back on that individual performance for Alan McGregor. Yes, he didn't necessarily get a clean sheet, but if there was ever a performance that deserved one, it was right frickin' there, because he gave us the platform to go ahead and win this game 4-1. When we weren't clicking on the outside with the defence and the midfield and the attack, when we were starting just slowly and Dundee United were creating chances, he was there time and time again with big moment after big moment. If we're talking about the moment scrapbook that we've spoken about here for 4 years on the channel, he's got a whole page just from this game alone. And before I go anywhere and speak about anything else, I just wanted to mention Alan frickin' McGregor. I absolutely love you. And you know what else I love, by the way, nation? First up is to be very cheap and very cheeky to ask you watching today's video, if you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We are trying to reach the 55k dream, so all the support would be greatly appreciated. Love being cheap and cheeky and plugging the old channel. But secondly, I love the fact now that is another hurdle climbed by this Rangers team. And ladies and gentlemen, there's just 3 more hurdles to go. Oh, buzzing. I truly am, because this was a potential banana skin type game. When you look at how Dundee United have been playing in the last 2 games, I mean, this was the team that just slapped Livingston Football Club 3-0 in a fiery encounter. And if you're paying attention to the league, no many teams are doing that to Livingston these days. So they came in fully confident, and they certainly started that game that way. Because I'll just be honest, between me and thee, I could have cracked the walnut with my arse in the first 15 minutes of this game. Because transitioning into the old game recap, the first major talking point in this game of football came in the 8th minute, where Dundee United, to be fair to them, carved open this Rangers defence like we weren't even there. They done to us what we've been doing to teams all season long, because it's a brilliant bit of build-up play. A couple of one-touches, a couple of little fast interchanges, and they've sliced all the way through us after Shanklin combines with Nicky Clark. Shanklin ends up going through on goal one-on-one with the keeper, but who's there? The guy we've already sang the praise in today's video, with a truly fantastic save, because he gets down early, spreads himself like an eagle, and he's there to stop Shanklin from scoring versus the team that Shanklin absolutely loves. I just wanted to add that to annoy any Dundee United fan watching. But regarding the actual game of football, that was a massive moment here, and I did think it was going to be the turning point for us to wake up and go ahead and steamroll Dundee United, because we saw McGregor's reaction. He was screaming, demanding players to wake up and raise their game, but it didn't quite happen after that, because the next highlight was once again Dundee United with a major opportunity where the ball kind of drops in the middle of the park, and defensively Joe Aribo here, you could see that's no his game. And hell, we're going to speak a lot about Joe Aribo throughout today's video, and a lot of it, and the majority of it, is going to be positive, and no wonder what a player he is in the attacking side of the game. Genuinely incredible football player. He could nutmeg a mermaid in a phone box. But defensively, I didn't like him in and around these areas. You can see it's not quite natural to him, and he doesn't have the awareness in the defensive areas that he's got pressure on him. Dundee United end up nipping the ball off him. They go down for a counter-attack. It's a nice ball in behind the Rangers defence, but thankfully Alan McGregor looks like a 21-year-old Manuel Neuer as he just nips right out of his line and managed to paw the ball away before the Dundee United player can either go round him and score or just get a shot off. That was massive for McGregor timing-wise, because if he doesn't get that, not only is it a penalty, it's probably a red card, and that wouldn't have been good for this ticker. Speaking of no good for the ticker, by the way, just 2 minutes after yet another warning sign, it was once again Dundee United just kind of piling people down the right-hand side. I don't know if many people actually noticed this, or maybe I'm just talking crap, but it looked as if they were gone down this right-hand side. They were doubling up on Stephen Davis and kind of taking advantage of Joe Aribo in those defensive areas, because they were just getting by him and piling people forward. And in the 18th minute, they end up once again going down the right-hand side and drilling a ball right to the back post that thankfully nobody could put in the back of net, and Balogun is there to clear it away. It was brilliant defending for Leon Balogun, not letting his guy get to the football. And right from that moment there, something seemed to click with the squad. I don't know if we adjusted it, but Joe Aribo went from a more midfield, kind of defensive midfield position to, no Joe, just go ahead and take this game over. I don't know if he'd done it himself, but it just looked different after that, because in one moment he took the football right in the 19th minute and just ran 15-20 yards, beating people for fun. He ends up cutting inside in the 20th minute of this game, leaving a defender for dead and shooting a shot with his right foot, by the way, which is fantastically saved for the Dundee United player. And within that little passage of play, it was a completely different game. Joe Aribo literally took this game over. But our ascendancy in the game and our starting to take control of the middle of the park was kind of stopped in its tracks in the 26th minute, where Ryan Jack ended up coming off the park early in the game for saucy Glenn Kamara. It was one of the ones where you could see he's kind of pointing down. I don't know if they were aware of it before the game, and maybe this was just starting to feel something, so it's more of a precautionary substitute. Again, I don't know too much as I'm currently recording today's video, but it wasn't a risk anyway. He came off the park, thankfully he was able to walk and come off the park on his own, and Saucy Glenn came in. But that moment again kind of muddled things up as we started to find our feet again in the middle of the park, and that is why the next opportunity after that sub was once again down that right hand side where Dundee United get a shot off, which this one's much more comfortable for Alan McGregor, but we've seen goalkeepers throughout the SPFL this season no make a save in 2021, so wee saves like that are always appreciated, right? Frickin' here. But thankfully we adjusted to the early change, and within a couple of minutes it went from the Alan McGregor show and he just handed the reins over to Joe Aribo, who was just outstanding, because in the 38th minute we got a goal that was badly needed, and it's all down to just his ability with the football. It's just raw ability. I mean, you talk about football players and they can do this and they can do this, but there's something special about Joe Aribo. He has just kind of this wand with the football that just no many players can actually do. He just has this balance and technique with the football, and this is just highlighted right here because he has it inside the box, right? He's kind of on the right hand side of the goal, so he's not really got a clear shot on goal, but he just continues to prod and probe and prod and probe over and over again, and the defender will not come and challenge Joe Aribo because he's terrified to death in what that man can do in the football. So he's just waiting to react to Joe Aribo rather than go and tackle him, and Aribo took advantage of that as he just cuts inside eventually after about 5 or 6 shimmies, as we call it here on the channel, and his shot that was, I think, gone in ends up getting flicked up over from your man Hadji, and he ends up putting it in the back of it, and I'm pretty sure Hadji's claiming that his celebration was brilliant as well. He celebrated like he hit a thunderbolt to the top bin, but I love that. That's his enthusiasm for the actual game coming out. But for me, all that goal was down to Joe Aribo doing Joe Aribo frickin' things. But hopefully you're not getting tired of hearing Joe Aribo's name, because in the 38th minute he was heavily involved once again, where him and Ryan Kent were just on a different level, and they just seemed sharp the day. Whenever they went forward, you got excited and expected something to happen, and eventually Ryan Kent finds your man Barisic, who whips a good ball to the back post to try and take advantage of this height comparison that we've got between Leon Balogun now being the right back and their fullback. That's something we touched on in yesterday's preview video, but Balogun ends up getting a header down. It falls to Ryan Kent, who tries a first time volley, and yes, it's deflected, but who cares, ladies and gentlemen? That's a Ryan Kent goal, and that's a big Balogun assist. But before we go ahead and speak more about Balogun, who was just incredible for the next 5 minutes and right to the half-time whistle pretty much, before we go down that road, I want to speak about Kent very briefly, because there's people out there trying to make this guy a whipping boy and slaughter him, saying he's been pished for months and everything like that. But no, for me, the man's on the wall for a reason, and you continue to see what he brings to the Rangers team. And for the stats, people who want to fire out stats, this man now has 9 goals and 11 assists. That's no bad for a winger that's literally the heartbeat of 90% of our freaking attacks and the work rate and the effort that he puts in. It's been overall a very good season for Kent, in my freaking opinion. But we did promise some Balogun mania, because again, that was one of the questions coming into this game, that a lot of people was looking at this as being the quote-unquote weak spot in this Rangers side. But anyone who watched that game, nah, it's no weak spot, ladies and gentlemen, because he's already got an assist with that Ryan Kent goal, and the man should have had an onion just before half-time after being involved in a build-up that eventually led to a couple of shots from Alfredo Morelos, who could have probably done better there. He has a direct involvement just before half-time where he just almost Tavernier-esque gets the ball down the right-hand side. He's got somebody on him, but he says, "No, I'm just going to burn past you, pal. I'll keep you at arm's length." He just runs and runs and runs with a fit ball. Then he whips in a ball, by the way, that I can only describe is absolutely sensational. Tavernier and Barisic's love child would have been happy with this cross and the bend on it, because it goes right to Alfredo Morelos for anywhere else they can hit this, and it's in to the back of net. But Alfredo ends up kind of just scooping his head down and ends up hitting the goalkeeper's shoulder, falling on the line, gets cleared away, which probably sums up his first half and his luck in front of goal lately. But that right there for Balogun was none short of sheer quality, which I think was needed from Balogun. We all needed that as fans watching this Rangers team today, because we were all slightly worried, but I think we're all eased now and we can relax, because, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have Balogun being able to put in a performance like that, we also got the incredible news from the gaffer after the match, who confirmed that Tavernier and Kamaru, by the way, will be back in 2 to 3 weeks. The skipper isn't out for the season, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see him very soon. Speaking of good news, however, we do go into half-time 2-0 up, which, if you looked in the first 15-20 minutes of, would have been hard to envision because how one-way it actually was. But once again, McGregor gave us that platform, and the key players and the magical players that we brought to this football club to put in performances and moments like that all had their moments, and that put us up 2-0 at half-time. And it was always interesting going in at half-time to see how we would start in the second, but I'll be honest with you, not one part of me was worried about us not coming out as hot as we did, because that is what we've been doing lately. But even in saying that, the way we started this second half, the goal that was scored, I'm struggling to put any words. Anyone who's watching keeping a Joe Aribo word count is just going to go up and up and up here, because just 3 minutes after the restart, it's a nice ball to Alfredo Morelos, who does brilliant, by the way, with the outside of his foot to kind of cushion it down to Joe Aribo. But what this is here is just top quality, because he runs once again into the box, and he threatens today a wee shimmy that just creates some that much of a gap. And when that gap was created, he ended up just rattling it with his left foot like a bullet that just went into the back of net before the goalkeeper even got in a position to dive. It was an incredible goal, ladies and gentlemen. I've not seen a shot hit as hard as that for a very long time, especially on the left foot vibes. I was getting a wee bit of the old Hammer vibes, again, no to that standard, but left foot bullet, top bin, kissing the inside of the post. That's a welcome flashback, ladies and gentlemen, and Joe Aribo deserves all the plaudits he's going to get, because that goal there is a screamer. And the way we continue to put on pressure and they continue to hunt down for even more goals, even though we were 3-0 up now in the game was pretty much dead and buried. Some people might say it's because Liverpool lost yesterday versus Everton, but for me, the gaffer has drilled that and wanted us again at Ibrox to be a fortress, and that is what we saw. Continue pressure, substitutions positive for Rangers, and the whole 50th minute pretty much was just us dominating and creating opportunities, and some of the play we done was just simply gorgeous. I can't even break down in today's video, or I'll just be too long, because nobody wants another 25-minute video for me, right? I can understand that, but some of the play was brilliant, and eventually led to Alfredo Morelos with a beautiful wee kiss pass and into the box, from Ryan Kent, whose shot from Alfredo is very well saved once again by the goalkeeper. And that was a wee bit of running theme between them two all afternoon, but that theme was quickly changed. And it starts with a substitution, ladies and gentlemen, as we make again a couple of changes, as Scotty Arfield and Scotty Wright comes on the park. And Scott Wright's first involvement in this game is to intercept and win the ball back from a Dundee United throw in and around our box. And what I love here is he's not just going to ease himself into the game, maybe turn around, pass it to Barisic who's there, or try and pick one of the midfielders out and just ease himself in and just take it calm. No, his first instinct is to go forward, and he sees Alfredo Morelos in interception, tackle, heat up, 30-yard through ball to Alfredo, who does very good work to get away from the defender, but the ball just rolls away from him in the last moment, and it goes to the keeper who was coming out, and the keeper here the keeper here just goes to smash it away, and it hits Alfredo Morelos in his old shoulder and goes back into the net, and you could see what it meant to him, and I'm sure all of us had a similar reaction, because what we said here for a large majority of the season, we've sat here many times and said he needs a wee bit of luck, he needs a ball just to hit off him and go in to the back of net, and he says scuffs a hun and goes in to the back of net. Well, we got it all there, ladies and gentlemen, and it meant so much to him, and it rebounded straight in to the back of net. He could go off happy now, because if Gerrard subbed him without him getting a goal, that could have been scary. But the man got the goal, and he deserved the goal. Yes, it's lucky, but his performance and his link-up play, once again grabbing another couple assists, he deserves that bit of luck, and hopefully now he can take that into the next game and start taking these chances that he is actually getting. But speaking of assists, by the way, Alfredo Morelos' last involvement in the game should have resulted in another assist, where once again we get the ball down, and he's brave here because he knows the defender's coming to clatter him, but he nips in front of him, very similar to what he did in Europe, where he got in front of the goalkeeper to pass it to aribo. He does the exact same thing here, and he gets there, wins the ball, kicks it straight to Arfield, whose shot ends up hitting the bar, but the defender has committed himself. He wipes Alfredo out from behind. It's a clear penalty kick, and as Alfredo Morelos has gone off the park, Barisic steps up, my fantasy team captain. I'm thinking, oh, here we go, here's the double points coming in. Go ahead, Barisic, your third penalty in 3 days, son. But someone didn't tell Barisic he's allowed to hit it the other way, as he goes right again, and the keeper, he saves it. My fantasy team's in tatters, boys, honestly. But anyway, from that Barisic miss, which is a -4, by the way, because I captained them. It's not funny, lads. Stop laughing at it. It ended up being a game of football where we made a couple of more changes, and I think that just took the intensity just out the game, where the next 10 minutes kind of passed, and then we have to go all the way to the 80th minute, where Ryan Kent is actually still burning people for fun. He has a good run, running all the way from halfway line, beating the guy into the box, but his shot goes just wide. But the next opportunity does actually make it the one in Dundee United's scoreline, and hell, if we're being honest, maybe they deserved that in what they've done in the game. But I'll tell you something who didn't deserve what happened to him, Alan McGregor, after what he put in that game. And unfortunately, Jack Simpson is involved in this one, and I've seen a couple of people take a couple of digs, but I think he's just trying to nip in there and not give a silly foul away. I think that's what he's trying to do, but unfortunately for him and us, his challenge kind of falls perfectly to McNulty, who does brilliantly well on his left foot as he just curls it and cushions it past Alan McGregor. And you saw Shagger's reaction. He was fuming at it. I'm sure all of us were fuming. But that's football, ladies and gentlemen. With the amount of chances they've created, they end up scoring the one where it's a lucky rebound after one of our chances. That just says it all. But moving away from the Dundee United goal, there was only one other highlight left in the game, and it came from the left foot of Barisic, whose corner is fantastic into the mixer to Connor Goldson in the 6-yard box. Get your big head on it, son. My captain and my vice captain. I'm making a comeback after losing the clean sheet and missing a penalty. It's well saved, straight at the keeper. Can't be arsed. But all joking and that aside, the only thing that mattered was getting the 3 points and seeing a performance for this Rangers team, and we got both, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it maybe took longer than we all wanted to, but when it clicks, again, we've got a reminder why we are the best team in the country, and the players that we've got and the players that can step up in moments is littered throughout the entire frickin' squad. So I couldn't be happier and I couldn't be prouder of what I witnessed in that occasion. And by the way, before we wrap up, shout out to the old Pigeons. What a job at left back. Can we get a couple of claps in the comments? Fantastic job at left back from the old Pigeons for Dundee United. And you may have noticed the longer the game went on, the closer and closer they birds go to Alan McGregor, which just shows Shags, he's still got it. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is the game recap, and that is my thoughts and opinions on the game. If you're looking at man of the matches, again, I'm torn here, because one side I've got Alan McGregor, who gave us the platform to win the game, and the other I've got Joe Aribo, who grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck from the outside, or outfield, I should say, and ended up going ahead and win us the game. It was a fantastic performance, and I think it just depends how you look at it. I think I'm going to go with Joe Aribo because I feel like he's needed that performance, but for me, it's neck and neck in both of them, genuinely. deserve the awards. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is us all done and dusted. All that's left now is for me to hand the reins over to you. I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on this game, so please share your opinions down there in the comment section below, and if you do, I will be speaking to you very, very shortly. But before I wrap up today's video, as always, a massive thank you from me to thee. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll see you in a couple of days. Enjoy your weekend, and bye.